The night the world changed began with rain. The kind of rain that falls so hard it feels like the sky itself is collapsing. In the narrow alley behind her grandmother's watch repair shop, Liora Venn stood ankle-deep in cold water, trying to rescue a crate of old tools before the storm swallowed everything. She had spent her whole life surrounded by gears, springs, and delicate mechanisms, learning that every complex machine was really just thousands of tiny choices working together. But nothing in her quiet life had prepared her for what happened next. As lightning flashed across the rooftops, the brick wall behind the shop began to shimmer like rippling glass. Slowly, impossibly, a glowing blue door formed where there had never been a door before. Liora stared at it, heart pounding, rain soaking her dark curls as the handle turned by itself. The door opened, and a stranger stumbled out into the storm. His name was Cael, and in his shaking hands he carried a broken brass compass that spun wildly like it had lost its sense of direction. He claimed he had come from another version of the world, one where cities had drowned beneath rising seas and the sky burned copper with ash. At first, the story sounded impossible. But when the compass flashed and the doorway revealed a skyline filled with floating towers and strange red moons, Liora understood something terrifying and wonderful at the same time. Somewhere beyond that door existed countless worlds, each created by the choices people made. And somehow, she had just stepped into the middle of them all. Morning arrived, but nothing felt normal anymore. The rain had stopped, yet the strange compass continued to hum softly on the workbench inside the repair shop. Cael worked tirelessly to repair it, surrounded by scattered gears and glowing fragments, while Liora watched with quiet fascination. Her younger brother Tavin refused to stay out of it. He followed every movement with restless curiosity, determined not to be left behind in whatever strange adventure had suddenly appeared in their lives. As the compass slowly came back to life, Cael explained the truth behind it. Every important choice a person makes creates a new path, a new world where events unfold differently. Somewhere out there existed versions of reality shaped by courage, fear, regret, or hope. The threshold compass had once allowed travelers to move safely between those branching worlds. But something had gone terribly wrong. Entire paths were disappearing, and worlds were beginning to collapse. When the repaired compass finally activated, it opened another doorway, this time into a place that defied imagination. A vast library stretched endlessly into the sky, filled with glowing shelves and floating lights. There they met Serin Vale, the quiet guardian of this impossible archive. She revealed that the library recorded the history of countless worlds and the choices that created them. But recently, entire sections of history had started vanishing. Whole futures were being erased before they could even exist. And somewhere beyond the branching map of realities, a shadow was spreading, threatening the fragile balance that allowed infinite possibilities to survive. Their search for answers led them to a city unlike anything Liora had ever seen. Halcyon Reach shimmered beneath a quiet sky, its glass towers reflecting perfectly in calm canals that wound through the streets like mirrors. At first glance the city looked peaceful, almost perfect. The buildings were elegant, the streets spotless, and the people moved through the markets with graceful calm. But something about the silence felt deeply unsettling. No one laughed. No one argued. Conversations were whispered softly, as if the city itself demanded quiet obedience. Serin soon revealed the truth behind this strange harmony. Long ago, the people of Halcyon Reach had made a single monumental decision to sacrifice freedom of expression in exchange for eternal peace. Beneath the city lay a powerful machine designed to suppress conflict by dulling decisive thought. For generations it had kept the city stable. But recently, someone had begun pushing the machine beyond its limits. The waves of influence it produced were spreading beyond the city itself, weakening the natural branching of choices across nearby worlds. Deep within the underground chamber, the travelers finally confronted the man responsible. Chancellor Orenmar believed the endless possibilities of choice caused nothing but suffering. In his mind, the solution was simple: erase uncertainty and guide all realities toward a single perfect path. But Liora understood something he did not. A world without choice might avoid pain, but it would also erase courage, creativity, and love. And as the machine began to collapse around them, she realized the battle ahead would not simply be about saving worlds, it would be about protecting the freedom to choose them. Their journey carried them next into a place that seemed to exist outside the normal flow of time. The forest of Elaris was filled with towering white trees whose branches glowed softly in the mist. Rivers sometimes flowed backward, and whispers of the future seemed to drift through the leaves like wind. In this strange world, moments did not always happen in the order people expected. Memories of tomorrow could appear before the events themselves. For Tavin and Cael, the forest was unsettling, filled with glimpses of futures they were not ready to face. But for Liora, the strange rhythm of the place felt almost comforting. It was here that Serin finally revealed the deeper truth behind the crisis threatening the worlds. Years earlier, while trying to save a collapsing reality, she had awakened something ancient and dangerous known as the Null. This strange intelligence did not think like a person. It was born wherever possibilities were crushed or denied. It fed on certainty and feared the chaos of choice. Oranmar had heard its voice and believed it offered salvation. In truth, it sought to erase every branching path until only one silent reality remained. As the forest reacted to their presence, vision surrounded them, possible lives, lost futures, and moments of regret. But in that overwhelming storm of possibilities, Liora made a decision that changed everything. Instead of blaming Serin for the disaster she had unknowingly unleashed, Liora chose forgiveness. Because in a universe built from choices, the most powerful decision was not anger, but trust. Their search eventually led them to the darkest world they had yet encountered. The city of Vare existed as a monument to regret. Twilight hung permanently over its empty streets, and unfinished bridges stretched toward nowhere across silent rivers. Every building seemed frozen in the moment before something important had been decided. Letters sat half-written on dusty desks. Celebrations had been abandoned mid-preparation. It was as if the entire city had paused at the edge of countless unchosen paths. Vare had been shaped by one overwhelming regret shared by an entire civilization, a desperate wish to undo the past. The Null had found fertile ground in such a place. In the city center, Oranmar had begun constructing a gateway powerful enough to collapse countless realities into a single restored timeline. His followers were people from many worlds who had lost too much to believe in the value of endless possibilities. To them, certainty felt like mercy. When Liora faced Oran, he did not threaten her. Instead he offered something far more dangerous, hope. Through the illusions of the city, he showed her a world where her parents had never been lost at sea, where her life had never been shaped by that painful absence. For a moment the temptation nearly broke her. But Liora realized something important. If she accepted the gift, she would erase countless other lives that depended on different choices. And so she refused. As reality itself began tearing apart around them, the battle for the future of every world finally began. Beyond the gateway lay the heart of the threshold itself, a vast white expanse filled with floating doors that represented every possible future. Here, at the center of infinite possibility, the Null waited. It was not a creature in the ordinary sense. It was the embodiment of absolute certainty, a force that believed existence would be peaceful only when all contradictions were removed. Oranmar had become its final instrument. As the travelers entered the threshold, countless doors opened around Liora. Each one revealed a different life she might have lived. In some she was powerful. In others she was peaceful. In one she even saw the simple happiness of a life where none of this had ever happened. The Null whispered through those visions, promising to remove doubt and pain forever if she would simply close the doors of possibility. But Liora understood the truth now. The beauty of existence was not found in perfection, it was found in the courage to keep choosing despite uncertainty. With the help of Cael, Tavin, and Serin, she used the ancient compass to transform the mechanism at the heart of the threshold. Instead of sealing the branching paths, she stabilized them. The infinite worlds began to resonate together like a vast symphony of possibility. Unable to survive in a universe that embraced contradiction instead of fearing it, the Null slowly dissolved into silence. When everything finally ended, Liora found herself standing once again in the quiet alley behind the watch repair shop. Dawn painted the sky in soft gold and pink, and for a moment it almost felt like nothing had happened at all. But the compass resting in Cael's hands glowed with a calm, steady light, proof that the balance between worlds had been restored. The doors between realities would still appear from time to time, but now they would open only when someone truly needed them. Tavin began studying the strange technology with newfound patience, eager to understand the mechanics behind the impossible journeys they had taken. Cael remained for a while, helping transform the little repair shop into a place where broken compasses and lost travelers could both find their way again. Serin returned to the Great Archive, though she promised to visit whenever new stories began to unfold across the branching worlds. And Liora finally understood something her life among watchgears had only hinted at. The universe was not a machine designed to run perfectly. It was a living network of choices, each one opening new paths into the unknown. Some choices would bring joy. Others would bring pain. But every decision carried the power to create something entirely new. And when another glowing door eventually appeared beneath the shop lantern one quiet evening, Liora smiled before she opened it. Because now she knew the greatest truth of all. Every choice opens a new world.